Good afternoon. I did want to show you just behind me. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Absolutely gorgeous. It's about 44 degrees right now, but with the sun on you, man, it just feels fantastic. Today we're going to pull some of this old wire and T-post this line. It's really in bad shape. We don't want any of the cows or anything to get caught up in that. So we're going to get this stuff pulled up. I'll show you what we got. I'll show you some of the tools that I'm using and things that'll help you out so your hands don't end up in terrible condition. So let's take a look at what we have here. All right, so what we got is this is what we call the North Pasture. And little by little, we're trying to clean it all up. And you can see, let me see if I can kind of get in a spot. You can see the post here and there and there. And this runs quite a ways out there. You can't see how far out it runs. Let me see. But it runs for a long way. The biggest problem is it's ancient, and this right here is my biggest problem. You can see all this wire just laying out here on the ground. And what'll happen is these cows will get wrapped up in there and it'll cut tendons, or it'll really get them wrapped up. And cows, horses, whatever, when they get in wire like that and it gets wrapped around their leg, they start jerking their leg trying to get it up out of there, and they'll end up, you know, if they mess with it enough, they'll end up cutting a dang foot off, or really damaging and hurting themselves. So I'm not going to be able to get this whole stretch today, but I'm going to get out to that white plastic line out here, that line there. So I'll get all that today and get this line up and out of there. So the couple things that you'll really want to have with you when you're doing something like this is a good set of really heavy leather gloves. And these are really heavy. And additionally, they've doubled up your palm right here across your palm, and they've doubled up across your index finger and your thumb. You can see they're used quite a bit here. But boy, these really prevent your hands from getting cut up. You'll still get poked once in a while, but boy, these make a heck of a difference. That double palm, that double index finger really makes a heck of a difference right there. You know, you'll still, like I said, you'll still get a hole through there. You'll get poked once in a while, but these will really help you across the board. Next, we got fencing pliers. These are designed specifically for running wire and fence and that kind of thing. You'll see here in this slot here, they really will bite down like a vise. And what you'll do is you'll grab that wire in there, you'll close up on it, and then you've got good leverage on both sides here and here to really pull and stretch out your wire, get it nice and tight. Additionally, it's got this hook to help turn and wrap your wire. You'll see here in this end. Additionally, it's got a groove right there. You'll put the wire through and bite on this section, and you can pull. It won't cut, but you can pull and you can turn this way and wrap it around each other, wrap two wires around each other, and really get a good twist on it. Additionally, it's got right here, this section, and on this side, both sides, these are cutters. You'll see me using those, and these really cut well on barbed wire and that kind of thing. Last thing I'm going to show you is this. This is a T-post puller, and all it is basically a lever. You'll put your T-post here on this side. T-post goes in this slot right here, and you try to make sure that it goes on the ribbed side, because it'll act like a ratcheting system here. Once you get up here and you've run out of space, you've pulled it up that high, as you lift this handle, you'll see it'll kind of ratchet itself back down. You'll want to put your post relatively close, but you'll want it to be square. And all you'll do is push down on this end, and these posts will come right out. Now, this one came out easier than expected, but that's just because the cows have been rubbing on it. You can see a bunch of their hair and that kind of thing on it. Some of these are going to be really tough. They're not going to want to come out because they're old and they're in a bunch of rock. So probably the first thing is I'm just going to start pulling posts and heading down the line right here. I'll pull off the wire as we go, and then from there we'll just after we get all the posts pulled, we'll get everything over the fence and we'll get it all pulled. You can see all this wire just laying out here, just asking for trouble here. we'll want to kind of straighten it all out as we go. Okay, here's something. This is a fence tightener. You can see what they did is they have that in there, and it's got, should have a little hook in there, or a little flap there, or a lever that kind of folds over. And then as you're tightening this, then it just hooks on that right here, and it'll lock in place, and it can't go any further. You'll put it in there and it won't go any place. But right now you can see it's not tightening much of anything. So we'll cut this off. Now we'll save that and we'll use that at another time. Then we'll just kind of throw that lever on that side, put our post down, square on the foot. There you go, right on out of the ground. As we go here, I'll get this piece of irrigation pipe, I'll get it put back over there with the rest of them. First thing I'm gonna do is just kind of walk down the line and get all these posts pulled. This one's still got a little wire attached to it. I have some that have wire still affixed to them, like this one, for example. If you can take it off, take that wire off while it's still attached to this post, or excuse me, if you can take that wire off while the post is still standing, it's a heck of a lot easier. The post will work kind of as leverage for you, makes it a heck of a lot easier. But you can see how easy this is. For this ground, it's not nearly as rocky, and it clearly gets irrigated. So I'm gonna grab, pick up some of these posts, throw them on the other side of the fence, and move the camera closer. Yeah, there's another big chunk of wire just laying there. Definitely not good for the animals. It's just acting, or just gonna be a problem. Waiting for an accident. So I'm trying to put that in a place where the wind's not gonna knock that camera over. I hope it won't, but we'll have to see. Again, oh, heck. There's the one balling. The calves must have heard my voice. I was wondering where that bawling was coming from. Calves hear my voice, and it's they are sure it's time they get fed. So, you can use the end of this again. Really handy tool, these pliers. If I can operate the doggone things. There we go. Give it a turn. And that comes right off. Those are free. On to the next one. You can see this wire as it's just hanging here, just over knee high for me. Where it hangs down, you can see the boy cow's gonna get their leg in there, or a calf. You can see all the hair that's on here. And it's just asking for a problem. You're looking for trouble. So best just to get rid of it, get it all out of here. Additionally, it gets me outside, especially in nice weather like this. I love it. I'll take advantage of it, especially after this winter. Had a lot of 30 below zero, and this 45 feels freaking fantastic. All right. You can see that was a little more tough right there. Probably got a few rocks around it. See, I'll show you the end of this. As they get driven in, they go around rocks and that kind of thing, and they'll get all kinds of twisted up and mangled from getting hammered in. You can see how this kind of goes that way and then back. Pretty crooked. All right, I'm going to just pull this next one, and then I'm going to cut the wire on the other side down there. That way we can at least get in here and kind of clean this section up. Then tomorrow I'll start working on that next row. We'll get it locked out. Right. So right under this irrigation pipe right here, I'm gonna just cut right here. And then tomorrow we'll start right on the other side of this. This is a good spot to cut it because it'll kind of be held down by this irrigation pipe. So that'll all be there. I'll gather up these tools. What I think I'm going to do is I'll probably roll from this in that way because it's a little tighter here. Before I leave, I'll take a good look at the cows. As we get closer to the 1st of May, we're going to have to start keeping a better eye on them. They're getting pretty close to calving now. And you'll find that just like women, some will calve a little early, some will calve a little late. So we'll just have to keep an eye on them. Here's where those gloves come in handy. Okay, we got a slick wire, which was probably electric at some point. And then we got this barbed wire. I'll kind of make a little loop with the barbed wire there. And typically I'll roll it just about this high, which is just about hip high, waist high. And then what I'll do with that end is I'll wrap that around, standing on the bottom down there, so that doesn't get away from me. And I'll use these ends, this tail, and I'll kind of wrap it so this will all kind of stay put now right there. This slick line is going to try to get away from me, but overall that's kind of what I'm shooting for, is that kind of a loop just about right there. So I left that tail a little long, and the reason is as I roll this up, it's going to gradually start getting a little looser and a little looser. So with that tail, I can give it another wrap here and there, and making sure it's nice and tight the whole time. You'll find out what I mean here in just a second. So here's where it's going to start getting a little loose on me. I got 3 strands that have kind of gone separate directions right there. So they're not going to want to kind of hang together right there. So what I'll do is right here, I'll just use those tails again, and I'll give them another wrap right there. And that'll hold everything together again right where we are. So now it'll kind of still be together, and it'll roll and still remain relatively straight here, other than that one loose wire right there. All right, so here, this is when it starts going astray on us pretty good. So what I may do is cut this slick line because it's in a big loop right here. I may cut this and just use it to tie what I've got. We'll see here. See if we can get it rolled up at all. Yeah, it's starting to become a mess, that stuff there. So what I'm going to do is right there, I'm going to cut this slick line, put a couple wraps right there, and that'll hold that. Now what I'll do is I'll cut another couple sections here, and I'll really just put some around it and get it all kind of tight. So now we got kind of the wire tied in both spots, and it's going to be tight. I think that'll work right there, maybe. Hopefully the wind won't knock it over. So I'm going to kind of pull this slick line. Let's see. Yeah, the slick line is just a mess. See, it's not really attached to the barbed wire. Like I say, it was probably hot at one point, but now what it's doing is just kind of creating a headache for me. gonna cut that with the pliers. So the trick to the pliers, one of the biggest tricks, is put them in the pocket so you got the dadgum things. You don't want to walk back and forth looking for them every dang time, like I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to cut this slick line and pull it off to the side, and we'll roll it by itself. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big wreck. It's definitely not desirable to let these loops go and have them go the other direction. It makes it a pain in the rear. So here's where I was talking about it just gets to be a mess. And if it becomes too much of a mess, I'll just cut it and I'll start a new roll. They're not going to reuse any of this wire or anything. And to be honest, I'm not far from doing that because this is just going to be a mess here pretty quick. That's what it's beginning to look like. What I'll do is I'll see if I can get it to these posts right here. Cut it there, take this wire and those posts, throw them across. Time is probably the most important commodity we have. There's always 100 things to get done, just like you guys. And I can sit here and fight this, trying to keep those two pieces of wire together and rolling it up and all of that, or I can just cut them and move on. There's no need to keep it and not cut it, so we'll just cut it and move on. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do is just grab these two posts and this roll of wire, take them down first. That way we won't have to come back. So before I forget, I'm going to go back and grab that slick wire and pull it up here further so that I don't forget it when I'm done here. Because I've got about 3 projects I need to go do, and I don't want to forget this slick wire out here. The 3 projects are on my mind, and this won't be here as soon as I get this wrapped up and gone. I'll be thinking about something else. It's funny to watch the cows. They're wondering what I'm doing, and they're all thinking they should get a treat. They haven't started hounding me yet. Little 15 was over. Followed me first thing. She's decided she didn't want to pull posts, I guess. I'm going to leave this slick line right here so I won't forget it. But I'm going to cut some pieces before I walk off. I'm going to cut a couple pieces here so that I have them if I need them. This slick wire is kind of a high tensile wire, so it's kind of difficult to wrap. So you want a little longer pieces than you would think. So I've got 2 of those. Put my pliers in my pocket. I will probably need these though, because this section of wire is really loose and it's just going to be a real pain to roll. I can see that already. We'll give her hell though. Should have brought my drink with me. I'm a little thirsty. And kind of pull those a little bit tight, and that'll help us roll them. I'm going to fold these tails over like I did the other time. About the same height. Now we'll get here to those tails. If I can get everything kind of together here. So I'm just going to use those tails again and kind of wrap here. And then as we go, I'll put another wrap as we go because it's pretty loose and nasty. It's really interesting because the location I lived for the longest time was kind of what I would call just kind of old Wyoming people. And what I mean by that is kind of just ranching type people. We the community, most everyone drove a pickup, and most of the time it was kind of an older pickup because you don't make a lot of money ranching, to be honest. And so that was kind of what we had for the community. And I heard this noise just now, making a lot of noise, and some little hopped up sports car, little red sports car. It's just interesting to see how the community is changing. This one, around here. Now, help me through the wilderness. Keep that half in mind as I continue forward. Okay, what I think I'm going to do here is it's just about to the point where it's going to start coming apart again. So I'm going to lay that down, come back and grab the camera, move it forward, grab my high tensile wire there, that's slick line, move everything forward, wrap that, and continue on. So as I said, this high tensile wire is kind of a little difficult to work with because it doesn't really wrap or tie as well as the barbed wire. The barbed wire will bend real easy and it'll kind of stay once you get it where you want it, whereas this stuff does not. So you have to kind of, oops. First off, you want to make sure you grab all of the barbed wire, get all of it in there. And so you know, if you're doing this, you just have to know that you're going to get poked. You're going to get caught on this wire a little bit. It's not a big deal. A little blood, no big deal. It's part of it. So, all right, with that, I think I can go a little further with this. We'll see. Ouch. Just like that. You hear me crying, right? Ouch. Ow. I should have just put this on to begin with when I did the other side, but I thought that that would do. Actually, I was pretty sure I was going to have to do this, but I was hoping I wouldn't have to. I'm not sure if you can hear that whirring sound. Those are sandhill cranes. They're a pretty big bird. It's surprising how big they are when you see them. Okay, let's see if that'll work for a little bit longer. And if this becomes too big of a headache, what we'll do is the same thing. We'll just cut it, start over again. It's just not worth our time to sit here and fight it and have everything going every which way. There's just no need for it. Time is money. Now, the biggest thing right now is time. I've got things I've got to get done at the house. I really need to get finished on that shop, or that shed, I mean. I've got siding to get up and get that door put together so it at least becomes usable. I don't know if you can see that, but this is really becoming a nightmare right now. So we're going to lay it right there. We're going to cut. We're going to wrap it up right now and throw it up over the fence. All right, same thing. What I'll do is I'll cut these a little long. Something you want to be careful of if your wire is tight at all. When you go to cut it, it's going to spring away from you. And be careful, because if you cut it here by your foot, that tail is going to try to come up and hit you right in the face. So you just want to be aware of it and let it go that way. Keep it away from your face. You can see I'm standing on it. Something you don't want it to slap you in the face, I promise you. So I'll take these ends, I'll fold them that way. And there we go. That one's ready. I'll take it, throw it over the fence, then move on to the next one. I'll probably roll that. This last bit's just going to be a train wreck, to be honest. It's going every freaking which way. So, just going to wrap those onto themselves really quickly. You can see what a mess this is. You can see this right here. What they had to do was wire broke at one point. Let's see if I can get some light on it. One of the strands broke at one point, so they had to mend it and tie it together, and then make this big knot. And what that does is you can continue on from that point, but it just makes everything a mess. And that's very common here. I'm going to go here and wrap it. Boy, that one caught me. Wasn't expecting that. See, I got another patch right here where they mended it there as well. Come on. Is that right? That is that. That row is cleaned up down there all the way to the irrigation pipe, the white one there. The cows are wandering off, so I'm going to try to get a look at them really quickly. I'm going to kind of make a beeline for them and just see if I can't get a good look at them, see if anybody's building up a bag or anything. It actually looks like one of them is that I can see from here. So we'll kind of move over towards them and see what we got. All right, last phase of the operation here is picking all this crap up, taking it over to the junk pile. We'll be getting rid of all that stuff here shortly. We'll bring the dump trailer over, and we got a bunch of scrap and just junk like this that needs hauled off. So now, hopefully we can do this without getting too bit up by the wire. The wire will bite us here when we're finishing, because we'll get in a hurry. I'll get in a hurry. Wanting to get this thing done. I got other things I gotta get moving on to, and in the process of hurrying, I'll get my dadgum arm in there somehow. cows are going to come over and give me one last look, see if I've got anything for them. So I'm trying not to pile it on itself. Come on now. Too much, because it'll hang up and hook on itself, and it makes it really tough to get out of there. Be surprised. It's hard enough just to get it out of here without getting my fingers. Here are the calves bawling for me. Hi, little 15. How you doing, sweetheart? You think I might have a cookie for you? Is that what you're thinking? Let's see if I got a cookie. Bet I do. I don't have many though. I bet I got a couple. There you go, babe. There you go, sweetheart. There you go. There you go. 15. Here they all come on a dead run now. Hi, little 14-1. You want a cookie? You got to come up here. If you want one, you got to come on. All right, 15 will get them all. Doesn't matter to me. There you go, sweetheart. There you are. Here comes everybody, but the problem is now I'm out of cookies. I'm sorry, guys. That's all, folks. That's all, folks. That's it. Sorry, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your time.